So, welcome to the introduction to Akashic Records. Those of you who are not familiar with what the Akashic Records are, today we're going to cover the introduction part of it, like what are they, where are they, what is it made up of, and all of that, just to give you a general idea. And then who can access them? Because I think that is one of the questions a lot of people have, that can anyone access the records, or is it only for certain types of people? And then we will get into a channeled meditation where we will open up our psychic senses a little bit, try and activate them depending on what comes through, because these channel meditations are not planned. The guides would give you the information and the activations that the group requires as a whole. So, whatever comes through, just be open to receiving it so that your activation happens. And then we will get into some psychic exercises, which are very simple. So, if you can have like a book and a pen, if you want to take notes, or if something comes through as messages during our session, that will also be great for you to take down. Because sometimes when we do these things, you will also keep receiving downloads or images or sounds or feelings. So just be aware of it, okay? And in the end, I will take your questions, whatever questions you may have. And that is how we can close, okay? So, can everyone please mute themselves unless you have a question? Then you can, unmute yourselves and ask me. But I would ask if you can keep your questions towards the end so that we can cover everything at one go. Others, we will get kind of sidetracked. And I have a tendency to keep talking and keep going and extending our webinar for like 3 hours or 4 hours. So let's not do that. So let's just stick to the topic. And so, what are the Akashic records? Does anyone have an idea? Like, some of you have had sessions with me, so maybe you know what the Akashic records are. But usually, when I say the word Akashic records, what comes to your mind? You can unmute and tell me whatever you feel. What are the Akashic records according to you? Anyone?
There, it's in the Akasha.
It's in the Akasha. So the Akasha basically is a Sanskrit word for ether, which is the air around us, or the atmosphere, or the cosmicness of the atmosphere around us. Ether. Anything
It's
else when you think about?
the record about our soul journey, and I think Akashic Records it's everywhere.
Yes, you're right. So, it is about our soul's journey. It is about the journeys that our soul has taken. So, not just in this lifetime, but any lifetime, any role that the consciousness of your soul has played, that is what is going to be recorded in the Akashic records, so to speak, which is in the ether, which is again all around us. Okay, so most people, when they think about the Akashic records, they think of it as being a library of sorts. That is how they visualize it. They visualize a huge library, and there are all these books which have the records of all the souls that have ever existed. And when we access the records, we imagine pulling out a book of that particular soul's information and reading. But the way I visualize the Akashic records is basically a fluid consciousness that exists all around us, but predominantly at a higher vibrational state, which is probably in the 11th dimension or much higher than that. And this is because it is untouched by anything, any other light being or consciousness. It is protected by a group of light beings called the Akashic Record Keepers and Guides. They are the only ones who have access to the records per se, the fluid consciousness that exists in other dimensions. So, this fluid consciousness is all around us as well. Sometimes, when we go about our daily lives, we get intuitive hits, right? Like we suddenly know things without any prior knowing about a particular situation or a person. Where do you think that information comes from? We're all like antennas, okay? We're all psychic beings. We all are like antennas, and we're constantly receiving information from all around us. The most common way to describe this feeling is like when you are walking alone on a road, right? It's dark and you're walking, and then somebody else is walking behind you. Without turning around, you know somebody else is behind you, right? Where do you get that information from? Do you
From
look
the
around?
energy field.
Yes. So your aura, your energy field is very expanded. So the aura acts like a psychic antenna. which picks up the information from your surroundings. For example, when you were a child, and if your parents had a fight and you walked into that room where they fought, they would have fought and they would have left the room. But when you enter that room, do you feel the sense of like something happened? That feeling like something was not right here in this room, right? So that is again the energy that lingers around in the auric field of that room that you have access to. So the Akashic records are like one step more advanced than that in receiving information. It's very specific information. So for example, you walk into that room where your parents had a fight and you sense something is wrong, right? But at the same time, you can also get information of what the fight was about. That is what tapping into the Akashic records would do for you. So this energy field that exists all around you has so much information to give you if you choose to access that information. If you allow this information to flow through you to your psychic antennas, then you will be able to receive this and use it in your daily routine, everyday life, so that your life gets much more smoother. There's a flow in your way of living. You don't have to really think so much about what you should do, what you should eat, what you should wear, where you should go, who you should interact with. You can give access to this information, this Akashic record field, to give you the clarity, the guidance, the validation that you need in order to go through with your life with that kind of clarity and flow. So you don't really need to use your logical, conscious brain unless you're dealing with numbers or money or analyzing something. Most of the time, you can be in that state of flow because your entire body is like a psychic antenna. The moment I say gut feeling, right, people usually imagine that, you know, it's in the stomach, it's in the gut that you feel that intuition. And it is because most of our nerve endings are concentrated more highly than the brain in our gut. So that is why the entire body reacts to information or people or situations, because the entire body is full of these nerve endings that are like psychic antennas that are receiving information. So the more you train this muscle, the more stronger your intuition will get and the more information downloads you will receive from the Akasha, which is the ether around you. With me so far, anybody has any questions? Meher, you were asking if the Akashic records had to do with karma. Um, it is not. It's so Akashic records. I have been tapping into it all my life, and the way they explain karma is very different from the way we understand karma. So basically, the way we understand karma is that if we do anything bad, then bad will happen. If we do anything good, good will happen. In a nutshell, that is how people assume karma is. But karma basically means that a soul, when it incarnates, it chooses to experience certain lessons or certain experiences so that it can learn more about the human experience. So we're basically spiritual beings having a physical experience and not the other way around. Most of us think that, oh, because we're in the physical body, we need to become more spiritual and more enlightened. And so it's the other way around. Like, we're physical beings wanting to have a spiritual experience, but we're actually spiritual beings having a physical experience. So that means we need to experience being in the physical body in all its glory. That means good, bad, ugly, right? So when a soul chooses to incarnate in the physical form, it basically is learning more about the physical form. So if there are lessons of patience or of endurance, of love, of having fun, whatever it is that the soul wants to experience in the human body, if it does not learn those lessons, it will choose to reincarnate again to experience those lessons in a different form. It's easy to imagine yourself in kindergarten learning ABCDs and not passing the exam to go to level one, right? So, what happens then? When you fail a class, you will repeat the class again, but with different classmates and a different teacher, perhaps. So, it's the same thing with karma. So, the moment you learn your lessons, you will be able to pass the class and move on to the next lesson. The moment you get stuck in that cycle, that repetitive mode of doing things the same way with the same outcomes, you will keep repeating that cycle till you learn how to break it. If you analyze your own life, you will notice these patterns happening in your life, either in your relationships or your work, or even with yourself personally. So the moment you realize these lessons, right, you realize these cycles, it's like a game. It's like you need to find out how to get out of that cycle. They're giving me, like my guides are saying, it's like Squid Game. I don't know. I haven't watched Squid Game, but if anybody has watched Squid Game, they're saying it's like that, right? You have to break the cycles and move to the next level and then to the next level. So it's all about trying to experience being your spiritual self, your divine beingness in your physical body. So imagine if you were in 100% control of your spiritual beingness in your physical body. That means you can think and you can manifest things. You can teleport yourself. You can use telekinesis or psychokinesis to move things around, and you'll be living in a Harry Potter kind of a world. And basically, that is the aim that the guides have for each of us in the human form. They want us to realize our full potential, and they're making me very hot right now because I feel this is a very important statement that I'm making from them, that it is important for us to realize that we are capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for. The moment we think that we are in our physical bodies and we are limited, we can't teleport, we can't levitate, we can't move objects around because we don't have those kind of abilities, and only certain kinds of people have that ability, that is where you're wrong. Because anyone can have access to these abilities if they choose to practice it. It's like a muscle. The moment you start practicing it, the better you get at it. Okay, with me so far. So to answer the next question, who can access these Akashic records? Anybody can access them. Initially, back in the day, I'm talking about like maybe 100, 200 years from now, back then, only certain people could access the Akashic records because they were the only ones who could interpret them in a way that would serve humanity. But because of the ascension process that has started on Earth since 2012, and since 2020, the process has picked up, and more people are beginning to wake up, their DNA is getting activated. So we are taught that we only have two-stranded DNA, but there are actually 12 strands, and sometimes some people say the 24 strands of DNA. And the more strands of DNA that get activated within you, your psychic abilities also start getting activated along with that. So the more you practice it, you're kind of activating your DNA. Or if you receive some sort of activation like you might receive during our channel meditation today, you will notice that you're becoming more and more psychic because your body is getting tuned to receiving these energies. So all you need to do is like practice. If you want to learn football, you have to practice. If you want to learn piano, you need to practice. Anything requires practice, including psychic abilities. It is not that, if even if I was born with them, if I didn't practice, they would have just become suppressed. And for years since my childhood, I have, tried to shun away from it and like keep it in a box because I wasn't sure what was happening with me. So now that I'm accessing them, there is so much more I still need to open up and access because I had free access to it as a child, which I suppressed. And now it's a struggle for me to like open it up fully and have full access to it, right? But if I did, I'm sure I can, move objects around and use my psychokinesis and telekinesis or even telepathy, for example, and have the session without me even using the words, right? That is the capacity that all of you have, and you need to explore. So, the access to the Akashic records has finally been given to everybody on earth because everyone is beginning to wake up to the reality that they are spiritual beings having a physical experience. So, the moment you believe that, you will have access to the Akashic records. Does that make sense? Have I lost anybody so far? Any questions you may have?
Yeah. I was wondering, so from when, like people started accessing Akashic records? It's been there forever, but how did human beings started to understand, okay, something like this is there and that we can access them?
Do you know this? In India, we have something called Nadi Jyotisham or those Talapatras,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So
yeah.
I don't know when they were written, but I'm assuming
Okay,
they were thousands of years ago,
yeah.
right?
Something like that.
Yes. So we had access to the records way back then, but it got lost in translation. A lot of people assumed that it was only certain types of people who can have access to it. And then it became like a control thing, like controlling the information. And because of that, not everyone had access to it, but it had, it was kind of like continuing for a while now in forms of people having, these matas coming on them. Like, in a lot of Indian villages and cultures, we have these divine channels, that they suddenly start getting into this frenzied state and they start giving information. That is also a part of the Akashic records. So when the energy comes onto you, it's not so they are usually channeling it with somebody else in between, because the body cannot take the energy that if it takes over the divine energy, the body would probably explode, because the body is not designed to handle such high frequencies. So the body needs to be accustomed over a period of time to handle such high frequency energies. So they happen sporadically throughout the years, people accessing the Akashic records. It's not like humans did not have access to it. It's just that some of them knew how to, and some of them were afraid to, and some of them didn't really care about it. Because before the awakening process has started, most of us were so consumed by the 3D way of living that we didn't really care about anything spiritual. It's only now, like, this is like a sudden boom and a trend that everyone wants to become spiritual now, right? And that is because they're beginning to like suddenly wake up and be like, oh my God, I have access to this and I can do this and I can do that, right? The whole manifestation, when the book Secret came out, everyone was like, oh my God, I can manifest whatever I want. And that is how it started. And how did that secret come out? Secret came out because people had access to information, that they were having downloads and they were like, oh, now is the time to start this. Nicholas Tesla, he was way ahead of his time. And that is why his work was destroyed. His work technically is still with the Vatican, but most of the work was destroyed in that fire in his lab, because if his work came out, then people would start waking up. And there is a bigger conspiracy theory. I mean, I would love to talk about it, but that's not part of the Akashic Records introduction webinar. But it is all about these two opposing forces on earth. One that wants the humankind to wake up and realize its spiritualness or the divine quality that it has. And there's the other one who wants to control it, because earth is full of resources and they're trying to mine those resources through the use of the humankind. So, because of that, a lot of wars have been going on, and there's a lot of tug of war between what's good and what's not. And the Akashic Records is now available to people so that they can differentiate and decipher for themselves what is right for them, what is good for them, not what the society thinks or what someone else has an opinion of, but they can decipher in their day to day what is good for them. So that is why when I'm saying you can access the records for your everyday day to day life, it's because of this. For example, if you were practicing accessing the Akashic records every single day, your psychic channels would open up so much that you can just ask, like, do I take this route to get to my office or that route? And the guides will tell you, okay, don't take that usual route, take this other route. And if you follow through with that intuition and take the other route, you will notice that probably there was a traffic jam on that road, or there was an accident that you would have had and you missed, something of that sort. So there's always a reason why they give you the information. And if you set the intention that I'm only going to receive information that is for my highest good and my highest good alone, you will receive very specific information that will help you in your life, in your day to day. Okay. So is it about past records or ongoing life experience? Maxwell, that's a very good question, because the Akashic records are not just about what happened in the past, but what is currently happening and what may happen in the future. To explain it, it would be easier for you to imagine, like, these video games people play, multiple player video games, and you have various outcomes, right? Depending on how you play the video game, you have a specific outcome. So life is like that. The moment you choose that I'm not going to go left, I'm going to go right, then your future outcome will change. The future is not set in stone. Okay, and that's good news. Future is not set in stone. There are certain, um, what should I say, certain events that are predestined, because the soul, before it incarnates, already chooses this is what needs to happen in my life for me to have these experiences so that I can realize my lessons and grow. So there are predestined moments in life, but everything in between you can choose. Even those predestined moments, when they happen to you, it could be an accident, it could be a heartbreak, it could be a failed marriage, it could be bankruptcy, it could be any of these important life changing moments. And you then get a choice whether you choose to use that experience and grow from it, or choose that experience and spiral out of control. So there's always a choice. And every time you choose something, like even if you choose to spiral out of control that moment, you're allowed to do that. Nobody's going to stop you from doing it. Nobody can, because we live in a free willed planet. So even when you're spiraling out of control, there could be a day when you suddenly decide, like, wait, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to change it. And then when you choose to like grow from it, you can still grow from it. So you have a choice you can make. You can choose to take a break and spiral out of control for for a minute, and then get back on track and, keep going. It's up to you, completely up to you, what it is that you want to do. So to answer your question, Maxwell, the records are all about your past, your present, and all possible futures. So anytime you make a choice, you're changing your future. Today, if you decide, okay, I'm going to learn Akashic records from Teja, and I'm going to access, the records for my day to day, you're changing your future. Because if you didn't have this information that you have today, your tomorrow could be completely different, right? You could just keep going about your life, trying to analyze it, using your logical brain, using your past experiences as filters to make choices. You could do that. And then on the other hand, you have this tool that allows you to access information for your highest good, which makes your life so much more easier. You don't have to think or analyze. You just have to follow your intuition and be like, okay, this is what I need to do. And I'm going to do this no matter what the outcome is going to be, or what the consequence, because I'm here to learn. I'm here to have fun learning. And that is the most important thing. The Akashic Records is not a serious tool. It is not like how, so when I first got onto this journey, I went to, like, I think I was around 18 or something, and I had my first experience with those talapatras. And that man said, just give me a thumbprint and I'm going to tell you your entire life history. So I was very excited. I was always interested in things like this. So he told me that, so at this so and so age, you're going to find somebody, you're going to fall in love. And if you don't marry him, you will not marry at any point in your life. And I'm like, how can somebody predetermine some things in the future like this at the age that I was? And it is so easy for people like astrologers or these, whoever else divines the future, to give you these images in your mind saying that if you don't marry at a certain point, you will never get married again, right? And it's easy for us to believe it. And the moment we believe it and make it our truth, it manifests. There was a point when somebody told my father that, at the age of 75, you're gonna die. Okay. And he was so, and this was, I think he was about 60 or something when they told him that. And he believed it so much that he actually manifested it. He manifested an illness he never thought he would have, and he passed away just after the age of 75. So I was and trying to tell him not to believe it, because every time he would say that, oh, I'm anyway going to die at that age, I'm anyway going to die at that age, right? So there are things sometimes when an astrologer or like one of these people who predict the future tell you, and if you buy into it, it's very easy for you to manifest it, because we are psychic beings, we are world class manifestors. Okay, we are spiritually very gifted, and we don't realize this. The beliefs that we hold in our heads are the reality around us. So if you feel like your life is not going according to plan, or if it's not smooth sailing, or if it is unhappy, it is because of what you're thinking about your life to be right now. The moment you change that, the more easier your life is going to get. Okay. And that is why it feels like The more you believe that you are in a flow state and that you're being guided every step of the way and that you have multiple choices to choose what you want to do in your future, these choices will show up. Because the guides are like, oh my God, she wants these choices, so let me give it to her. The universe will only give you what energy you're putting out. If you say, I don't want a disease, they will give you a disease because they can't understand, I don't want. Okay. Because if you're so scared you're going to get sick, the energy frequency of that fear is what is going to get manifested, not the words you're saying. If you say to yourself and feel it in your body that I'm extremely healthy, nothing can go wrong with me. I am, immune to everything that's happening around me because my system is perfect. People will say you're crazy. That's wishful thinking. Okay. But if you believe it so strongly within yourself, it will manifest. And I can tell you this because I keep conducting experiments on myself, every now and then. And there was this, for the last couple of months since December, everyone in my family has been falling sick, having this flu virus and, the cold-like symptoms. And I was, hugging them and talking to them and spending time with them. And everyone would be like, stay away from me because you'll fall sick next. And I'm like, no, I will not. And they're like, oh yeah, come on, you're being overconfident, and I haven't fallen sick. And it feels like the more you believe that your body is a miracle, it can manifest whatever you're thinking, it will do it. Why do you think there are so many people who have all these illnesses and can reverse those illnesses by just their mindset? Right? So having information and faith, not just belief, but faith. When I say faith, I mean ultimate surrender. You're like completely in surrender to the universe's energies that are flowing through you, understanding that you are also in sync and aligned with the universe, so that whatever you decide to do is going to play out the way it's going to play out. So that is why whenever I have a negative thought, I have to be very careful. I have to become instantly aware because I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to manifest this now. Right? So the moment I think, oh, I'm going to get stuck in a traffic jam, the jam happens. So when you believe you're a master manifester, anything you say or think or feel will manifest instantly. Anything. If you don't believe me, try it out for the next 1 month because it will take some time for the muscle to grow. But the moment you believe something strongly about your life or about your situation, it will change. So don't have negative thoughts because they're the fastest to manifest. Okay. Um, yes, Uma. So Uma says she's not had a cold or a cough for the past 2 years, and it does work. When you believe that you're going to be healthy, it does work. Okay, not just healthy, even with money. So every time I want a break, I just tell the universe like, I feel very tired and exhausted. Do something about it, and then I don't have any bookings for the rest of the week or for the next month or whatever till I feel like okay, my energies are back up again. And even before I realize that I'm good to go, if I'm good to go like next week, from this week onwards, I will have all the bookings for the next 2 months. Okay. And I'm like, what is this? I don't think I'm ready yet. And by the end of the week, I am actually ready to go. So the universe knows what you need. You just have to ask the universe, whether it is for money, love, relationships, um, manifesting things, your psychic abilities, whatever it is that you want, you have to be in alignment with that energy. Okay. So when you have access to the Akashic records, you have this hidden information that nobody else has access to, which gives you an added advantage. And that is how I look at my life. The moment I started channeling, I didn't know where I was channeling from. And a lot of people would ask me, who do you channel? And, is there a being that comes through you? And I'm like, I don't know. Because names, labels do not exist on the other side. And the moment we are focused on, like, oh, I want to channel from so and so planet with so and so intelligence, it may happen, it may not happen. Or there could be some intelligence that is channeling through you that could be manipulative also. You don't know that. So Akashic Records is the safest bet because it's very neutral. It doesn't have an opinion. It doesn't care how you use it. And it will not tell you this is how you should live your life. And that's the best part. It will give you the information, but it will allow you to choose whether you want to follow that information or not. And I think that is how life should be, no? If someone tells you, no, no, you have to be like this only, it's very annoying. So the record keepers and guides will never give you information that will make you feel like you are put in a box, or you're like kind of put in a corner where you have to make a choice, right? They'll never do that. They will give you the information, and then you can decide what it is that you want to do. Uma, you have a question? You're on mute.
Yes, yes. So I wanted to ask you if about, say, two people access a particular person's records, would we hear or get the same info, or is it more of interpretation that can be very different with person to person?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Actually, when two people are accessing a person, single person, for example, Arvind is here, okay? So Uma and Meher are both accessing Arvind's records. If he asks the same question, for example, how is my career going to be? And you get an aspect of his career, and Meher gets another aspect of his career. It's not going to be the same, but whatever information you receive and whatever information Meher will receive will both be useful for Arvind, because he will get like a whole 360-degree view on his situation. But it will not be opposing, if that's what you're asking. It will not. So, for example, if he's going for an interview, and Arvind says, like, will I get the job? And if you say yes and Meher says no, it will not be that way. Because, again, the record keepers and guides will never say yes or no so bluntly unless it's manifesting very soon. Okay? Because if it is like in this next couple of days or in the next week, the future becomes more solid. Okay. So the yes or no will be more accurate in that way. But if someone is saying, asking like, next year I want to change my job, will I be able to get into that particular office? You might get a yes and a no both, because unless Arvind decides that, oh, I want to change my job, that future is not going to be manifested yet. But if he's already made a choice and he's looking and applying for other roles, then that possibility will become more real. So then you can say, yes, you will find a job, but maybe not in that You'll get a feeling. You'll get a feeling whether or not it's going to happen. But it will not be like, if it is meant to happen, and it's like in the next 2 days, he's going to get a yes or a no, and you get a yes and she gets a no. Usually it's never that opposing. It could be, you might get like a very clear yes, and Meher could get like a yes, but you might have to negotiate salary. And if you're not happy, then you may not choose to go ahead with the job. Because again, even if he gets the job, he needs to make a choice whether he wants to take it or not, right? So that also is another aspect of the records, that the guides will give you the choice. Like, do you want to take the job? There is an offer. And I get, this is a very common question that people ask with relationships. Okay. So I have these clients who come to me. They don't want to get married. They don't want to be in any relationship, but they want to know if there is a future partner. Right. And I'm like, I can't see anybody in the future. And they're like, why not? If there is somebody who's supposed to come into my life and meant to be in my life, why am I not able to see them? Right. And I'm like, because you don't want to be with anybody. So that person is not showing up. You change your mind today, and I will see instantly in your future if somebody's there. And they're like, no, but I don't want to get married. Even if somebody comes, I don't want to get married. Then how? It's very difficult. Okay. So you have to make a choice in your present for your future to get affected. And in the same way, any choice you make in the present can also change your past, not just your future. And this is a very interesting concept, because time doesn't exist linearly. It happens in the now. The past, present, future are all happening in the now. So when you change to look at or feel differently about a past situation, you're actually changing your past, and in turn affecting your present. So, for example, when I had gone through some sort of a traumatic experience in my past, and if I choose to let that affect me even in my present, my future is also going to manifest like that, right? But if I sit in the present and come to terms with the traumatic event, and understand the lesson behind it, because everything is a lesson, nothing is personal. Nothing is personal. It's like when you're studying in kindergarten, and if your teacher marks you wrong for not getting the ABCDs correct, it's not personal. She wants you to learn, and that is why she's not passing you to the next standard, right? So, in the same way, when any event happens in your life, whether it's a good event or a traumatic event or a type of event also, it's teaching you something. It's telling you about you, not about the other person. It's not telling you about the situation. It's telling you about you. So if you are willing to learn that from that experience and see what you could have been differently at that particular point in time, then you can choose to be that now and change that past. It's a little all over the place, but that is how they're explaining it, and that is how I'm saying it, because right now, whatever information I'm saying to you is being channeled. So I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, please keep writing them down and we'll address them towards the end. Okay. Um, and okay, so how can we be sure we're not channeling dark beings? So when we connect with the Akashic records, there is a prayer that you say to connect with the Akashic records. And in that prayer, you are asking for the highest form of energy to come through. So when you set an intention, and that intention is for your highest good and your highest good alone, you will universal laws exist. Okay, so the dark beings cannot jump those universal loopholes and come and attach themselves to you and channel through you if that is not your intention. But having said that, there are a lot of people who want to channel information and they just say, I'm open to receiving information. The moment they say, I'm open to receiving information, anyone can hop in. Anyone, including dark beings or dark energies, right? And again, the use of dark beings or dark energies in our world is because it's, we're so gung-ho about the duality, right and wrong, good and bad, evil, and, all of that. So on the other side, this doesn't exist. There's nothing like darkness. There's nothing like goodness. Okay, there just is information. How you use the information makes it good or bad. So even if there's a dark being coming in and they might have agendas, which is possible. I'm not saying it's not possible that there are energies around us that have different agendas, but their agenda may not have your highest good in mind. So when they give you information, it could be detrimental to your life, but not because they're trying to purposefully harm you, because they have a bigger agenda at play. They want world domination, for example, right? And you're just like a key player in that. So they try and influence your energies so that you can get there. Does that make sense? So even the light beings have bigger agendas. It's not just the dark beings, okay? Even the light beings have bigger agendas. So if because you're like a speck in the universe, like even the earth is a speck in the universe. So on that speck, you're a speck. So you can imagine, you don't really mean much, okay? So when the light beings have that universal kind of agenda and you're trying to tap into those kind of light beings, they will not be keeping your highest interest in mind. And that is why it's important that anytime you connect with these energies, you specify that only those of the highest God and goddess frequency can channel through you for your highest good and highest good alone. Okay. So you're very specific about the kind of information or light you want to channel. But there are others who purposely choose dark beings to channel because they get information that the light beings may not give you. For example, if you channel the Akashic records and ask, when am I going to die? They will not tell you because it can influence the way you live your life, right? But if it's a dark being, it will happily tell you when you will die, how you will die, and give you all the details of it. So there are people who like to channel darker beings as well, but they have different agendas. And today's webinar is not about that. I mean, there's so much here that I can talk about because of the access I have with the records and with the access that my guides continuously give me, like, the information from all around the realms that I can share with you, maybe on another webinar, on a YouTube live. You can also give me ideas on what kind of information you would like to listen to, and I can probably do a free YouTube live and give you this information because I love talking about these things. There's so much There's so much information. And that is why I feel like if you start accessing your Akashic records, you will have so much information to live your life without any issues. You can also, like, if you're getting into a business deal, you can find out about your partner's energies and if they will suit your energies or not. It's not like the bad people, it's just sometimes energies may not suit each other. Like, I've had a lot of clients asking me that I want to get into partnership with so and so. So their energies might be very aggressive, and the person who's asking me the question, their energies may be a bit more softer. And it could be a mismatch, or it could be an amazing match because this person is who's asking me is a creative person, and the person he's partnering up with could be a person who can execute these ideas, right? It again depends. Even in relationships, when you get into a relationship, you can find out if that person's energies will match yours or not. But when you ask such personal questions, you have to be in a very blank state of mind, not influencing the answers. Okay. And that is where the practice comes in. The moment you start practicing blanking out your mind, getting into a neutral state to receive the information, then you will receive more accurate information. The moment you let your judgments about things and experiences cloud that information, it will become all distorted. Okay. So, so do we get a different spirit guide or a channel? No. So when you channel the Akashic records, it's usually the same energy. So when I say record keepers and guides, they're not individual beings. It's like a spectrum of light that is protecting this consciousness that I call the Akashic library, right? So when you're channeling, it's like the collective but in a singular voice. Like, I'm clairaudient as well, so I hear them, and sometimes they choose to speak through me, like how they're doing right now. So it feels like a collective voice rather than like an individual male female kind of thing. So I don't even know if they're male or female. They're just neutral beings of light, and they give me the information collectively. And the reason I feel like it's more female oriented is because I'm speaking it and they're using my voice. But if, say, Arvind or Ayush or somebody else, Maxwell, channels this information, they might experience it as a male voice. It depends totally, but it's generally the same energy that channels through you. And many record keepers, I mean, the people who access the records, so let's call them Akashic record readers or guides. When they access these records, each of them has like a middleman or a middle person. Like, it could be a deity, it could be an angel. Like, a lot of people use Metatron because Metatron is also known to guide or guard the Akashic records. So they use Metatron's energies to kind of connect with the Akashic records, which is okay. But and I used to do that as well. Like, when I first learned how to control my channeling, and I learned from Maureen Saint Germain. She's an American who teaches how to access the Akashic records. And so she had her prayer involves a lot of different deities and archangels. And when I started accessing the records and I was able to control my channeling, my guides gave me direct access. So now when I teach the Akashic records to my students, I give them the direct access. I mean, we don't use any people or middle, lack of a better word, it's middlemen. Okay. There's nobody in the middle. You have direct access to the records, and the consciousness directly flows through you. So there is nobody in between. So Nadi Jyotisham is different from the Akashic records only because of the modality and the way they access it. So they usually check the pulse of a person and give information about their life's purpose. That is how Nadi Jyotisham works. Talapatras are different. Again, they're like this information that's written on tree barks, and it's been around for thousands of years. And they also take your fingerprint to access your particular information on that tree bark. Okay. So Akashic records, you don't need any of this. You can directly receive information through your consciousness. That is how this works. So the modality is slightly different, but maybe they're receiving it because I'm not familiar with Nadi's process or like Talapatra's process. So I can't really for sure say that this is exactly what they're receiving from the Akashic records. They could be receiving it from other deities or beings as well, because they also have access to the records. Like I said, middleman process. So anybody can give you the information. It's not like they can't. It's just that process is a little different. The way I teach my students now, I give them direct access to the Akashic records because my guides think that is okay now to do. Initially, it wasn't okay. So they had all these archangels or deities in between to give them access so that the information could get filtered. All right. So any questions about how you can use Akashic records in your day-to-day? Yeah, that's also true, Uma. So in Akashic records, you can access your own records. For Nadi, it's basically for another person. Maybe you can hold your Nadi and get your own records. I'm not sure. Um, like I said, I haven't experienced this process of Nadi Jyotisham, but I have experienced the Talapatras, and in that, all you need is your fingerprint. So you can probably access your own Talapatras where all that information is written down using your own fingerprint. But with Akashic records, you can have access to them continuously. So the more you practice Akashic records, the channel gets opened up. It's permanent. So now, even if I don't say the prayer to connect with my records, I can still access the information by just asking the record keepers and guides, like, what do I need to know about this? And then they just give me the information. And the more you practice, your guides, who are separate from the Akashic record keepers and guides, will also start collaborating with them and giving you more information. So you can also ask for um, confirmation. Like you can ask your guides to say, um, if I'm choosing to learn the Akashic records, give me a sign. Okay, give me a sign in a way that I can understand, not just give me a sign. They will be giving you thousands of signs and you'll not understand it. But if you say, give me a sign in a way I can understand it, then they will give you a sign where everywhere you see people are talking about Akashic records, for example, or somebody's talking about learning it from me. And then somebody's talking about how easy their decision making got when they knew what the Akashic records had to say, for example. So then you're like, oh my God, wherever I turn, I'm only seeing Akash. So maybe that's a sign for me, right? Sometimes you can be very specific. Like, so one of my student was like, I'm going to try this out. I said, how? And she said, I'm going to ask for a guy in a red cap to walk past me. Okay. And she also said that I'm going to ask my guides to tell me that they're with me by showing me a guy in a red cap walking past me in the next 24 hours. Okay. It's very specific, the ask. And so she asked this in the morning, and evening she and her husband had gone out to eat some pani puri on the road or something. And she was telling him that it's almost end of the day, and I had asked this of my guides, and I don't know if this is going to happen, right? At that moment, a guy in a red cap passes her by, okay? And her husband is like, "Weren't you talking about a guy in a red cap?" And she didn't notice him pass by, but her husband did because, she had just told him about it. And then she looked at him and she's like, oh my God, that's so cool. But what if it's just a coincidence, right? So the guy who left the road, he comes back again, passes them again twice. Okay. So this is a way the guides are like saying that you asked for it, we sent it to you, now don't question it. So they sent him back again, right? So this is also a possibility that you ask for a specific sign from your guides and they will show you because it's easier for them. The more specific you get, it's easy for them to show it. But if you are like very vague about it, like show me a sign you're there and all that, they'll be showing you so many signs, but you will not notice it because you're so preoccupied with everything else that's going on around you that you will not notice it. But the more you tune into it, the moment a sign shows up, for whatever reason, even if you ask for it or not, if a sign shows up, you will suddenly become aware and tune into it and be like, wait a minute, why is this showing up? Is it something that I need to pay attention to right now? So it could be like a butterfly suddenly in your face, like, flying only around your face. And you're like, what is this? And then the information that can come to your mind saying that, a loved one wants to just say hello. Because generally people in the spirit world show up as butterflies, birds, feathers, songs, smells, things like that, different types of things. And with the Akashic records, you can also access those energies. So I have a lot of clients who ask me about people who've passed on. Because I'm a psychic medium, it's easy for me to connect and see it. But anybody with practice can also get information about people who've passed over. They can also be mediums. It's not like you're born with it. You can also tune into it and get there if you want to. All right. So, perfect. This is the introduction part of it. We're going to get into the action part of it, where we're going to do a channel meditation now. If you have any questions, just keep writing them down as they come to you. And towards the end, we do have a Q&A. We can go around doing that. Okay. I do notice, Mary, are you driving? Okay, you're not driving. But if anybody is in outside, cannot relax, then I will try and send you the recording of this webinar so that you can probably listen to the meditation and try it at home again. But if you can relax, then I would suggest that you lie down or recline on your chair. Make sure you're in a comfortable position though, because I don't want you to get distracted by your body trying to, adjust itself. So if you can lie down, that'll be the best. If you're sitting also, you can do this meditation, but just make sure your feet are planted on the floor and your back is straight. And if you can use earphones, that'll be great so that you can hear me without any distractions. Rosemary, I see you're too far away. Are you okay? Can you hear me? All right. Okay. Perfect. Um, the others have the cameras turned off, so I'm not really sure how you are placed. But just make sure that if you're sitting, your feet are planted on the floor, not cross-legged. Um, don't cross your hands or your feet or your ankles. Just make sure that they're in an open position so that whatever energies we are receiving will get grounded through your feet into the earth and then back up again so that you're completely grounded. And that's when we'll open the channel. Okay. So, everyone ready? Well, if you're ready, just let me know. Give me a thumbs up.
Yes, Teja.
All right, perfect. So just make sure that you're all on mute so that nobody gets disturbed. And I hope your phones are on silent so that you don't get disturbed. All right. We're going to start with the activation meditation. Just find a comfortable position, taking a deep breath all the way down to your belly and exhaling through your mouth. Again, a deep breath all the way down to your belly. And exhaling through your mouth. Another deep breath all the way in. And as you exhale, allow your body to sigh, just releasing the air within your body as you begin to relax. For the next few moments, we want you to just surrender to this energy that is flowing through you, recognizing that you are a being of light in this physical form, allowing your body to just surrender to this beautiful light within you. Recognize that this light that flows through you is of the highest frequency that you have access to. And that this physical body, the vehicle that your soul has chosen, is of the utmost importance, as this physical body can give you everything that you need in this life and fulfill all of your dreams and desires. Let us begin by sending gratitude into the physical body by placing one hand on your heart and the other on your navel. I want you to feel the sense of gratitude for this physical being that you are. Start by sending love into the body, thanking the body for allowing you to go about your day to day so easily and effortlessly, for allowing you to be the person you're choosing to be in this incarnation. Thanking the body for all the support it has been giving you since the conception. Thanking the body for enduring so much of pain and hurt and illness, and yet showing up stronger every single day. Thank the body for enduring the harshness of your judgment and criticism, and asking it to forgive you for putting it through so much of pain and hurt by your judgmental and critical thoughts about yourself, and choosing to treat it better with more love, kindness, and respect. Thank your physical body for everything that it is, for allowing you to do the basics like see, hear, speak, touch, feel, walk, eat, digest, all the basic things that it does, including just taking breath for keeping you alive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now imagine this beautiful light that is your soul emanating all around this physical body, encapsulating it protectively, lovingly, gently. This physical body that you are is surrounded by your soul's energy that is much larger than you can even imagine. Only a percentage of your soul's true essence is in your physical body. Your soul is expansive and is all around your physical body. I want you to become aware of this energy of your soul all around your physical body. Tune into it. Tune into the front, the sides, the back, the top and the bottom, 360 degrees all around you. And as you tune into your auric field, your energy bodies, Notice that with every breath, how expansive your energy fields can get. These energy bodies are your psychic antennas. They are the ones that receive the information first and convert them to thought or feelings before becoming physically tangible. Become aware of this fact now. And as you become aware of your energy bodies and how expansive they are, now imagine the light of Source coming down all the way from the universe, coming down all the way from the universe, and entering your soul's auric fields, your energy bodies, and coming through into your physical form, entering your body through the top part of your head. And as this light of Source comes down all the way from the universe and enters your energy fields, notice how this light interacts with your energy fields. Notice if there's any change in color or frequency or vibration in your body. And as the light moves through your physical form, through the top part of your head, going down your crown, through your third eye, through your throat, down through your heart chakra, down through your solar plexus and Manipura, through your Swadhisthana and Muladhara, and now down, all the way down your legs, out of your feet, going all the way down the floor, into the earth, moving all the way down through your body, through the earth, going all the way to the center of the earth. And as this light goes through the center of the earth, it anchors itself around the crystal grid of the earth. You can imagine this light wrapping itself around the crystal grid, anchoring the energies flowing through you from the source, all the way down all of your chakras, going down through your body into the earth. And now, as your energies anchor to the earth, imagine another light from the center of the earth with all the blessings of Mother Earth, with all the nurturing kindness and the love Mother Earth has for you, emanating from this crystal grid, moving up through the layers of the earth's core, moving all the way up, germinating from the ground. This light now moves all the way up through your floors, through your legs, moving up your legs, through your Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, moving and expanding in your heart before it moves up your throat. allowing your heart to open up and as this light from the earth emanates through your heart, feel the expansiveness and connectedness to all of the species on earth, alien or otherwise, all the species in the universe, all the consciousness and energy beings. Feel your heart expanding out towards them, connecting with them, sending them love, gratitude, and asking to receive information from the universe, from all of these consciousness, and all the light and the dark. You do not have to be afraid of the dark. It is from where all of creation has first started, and it has a lot of wisdom to offer you. Remember, dear ones, information just is. The way you choose to interpret it, or use it, or respond to it is what makes it the dual reality of good and bad, right and wrong on this planet. And as you expand your heart to receiving this information from all the species on Earth, alien or otherwise, and of all the species and consciousness that exists in the cosmos, and as you choose to receive this information through your heart space, set an intention that you will receive the information that is for your highest good and highest good alone. And as you expand your energies of your heart to connect with these energies, I want you to move this energy now up through your Vidushta, which is your throat chakra, all the way up to your Agnya, your third eye, and then finally to your Sahasra, which is your crown. And imagine your crown opening up to receive this information from the Akasha. And now that you have been anchored into the earth and the universe, with your heart open, with your crown beaming like an antenna waiting to receive information from all around, including its energy bodies, the cosmos, the universe, the consciousness that exists. Set an intention to filter out information that is only for your highest good and highest good alone. Giving permission to your own personal spirit guides who are here to help you on your journey, who are here to protect you and guide you and give you clarity and validation. Choose to give them permission to interfere in your life in the best way they see fit for your highest good and highest good alone. Give them permission now if you choose to. And let us also give thanks to the ancestry, the lineage that you come from, going all the way back up to the source. Thanking all of your ancestors, whoever they may be, either of this existence or of a different existence, who have been guiding you through the millennia, giving them thanks and gratitude, loving kindness from your heart. and asking them to guide you in this process of receiving information that is of your highest good and highest good alone to help you with your everyday tasks, giving them permission to guide you in the best way they see fit, helping you evolve and grow to finally realizing your true potential. As you expand your energies all the way to the universe, the cosmos, and beyond, notice how expansive your heart, your mind, your body feels. Tune into those energies as and when you feel like on a regular basis to feel more connected to us, to feel more connected to the universe and the cosmos, to feel more connected to yourself and the energies that you are, the light that you shine. And as you keep expanding your energies and feeling more connected to everything that's around you, notice how easy it is for you to receive information. Anything you choose to ask, you will receive. And this is the universal law. Now we would like you to pull all this energy of the cosmos, the source, the divineness of your being back into your physical body, knowing that you can expand out anytime you choose to. Slowly pulling all of these energies swiftly back into your energy fields, into your energy bodies, and slowly back into your physical form. Imagine all the cosmicness of you is now finally coming back and integrating itself back into your body. Pulling all these energies back into your physical form as you become more and more aware of the room that you're in, of the chair or the bed that you're sitting on. Becoming more aware of your physical body, becoming more aware of your breath, coming slowly back into your body now, into your awareness. And whenever you're ready, you can choose to open your eyes and reconnect. Oh, that was very trippy. I don't know how you felt through that. Um, I need a moment to come back. Yes, that's a good idea, Meher. I think we should all drink some water. It's It's a bit trippy. Wow. I hope most of you guys are back with us. Just drink some water, you'll feel much better. Any feedback, any experiences you've had, please share because I'm completely zoned out right now. I'll need probably a few minutes to get back. You're
Teja,
saying, yeah,
is it okay? Can I
yes,
start?
yes.
Well, I don't know whether it's true. You told butterflies, no? But you don't believe I had fly, small fly. Whenever you told to express my gratitude to my body, my skin, and all, you know my position, no? Whatever I've gone through, I was just experiencing and I was thanking my thing that I had a very beautiful skin. I mean, all the senses I have, and they're all been working and they've been very supportive. And I'm just thanking my parents also. Just for 2 seconds, the fly came. Housefly, not a butterfly, but this particular housefly. That particular housefly, when you were telling about butterflies, I have noticed that in my screen, near my screen. I thought it's a joke because houseflies usually we don't
Yes,
think, no?
but
But
this, yeah,
yeah, when I have thanked my skin, it came and said to me. And now also, when I finished channelizing, and I mean, know who my spiritual guide is. Earlier also we have met. I have completely got signals from Amma also.
wow, that's so beautiful.
But I don't know how to take this flywala thing. But it's
So,
good.
see, it's just they're all consciousness, right? Like whether it's a fly or an ant, it doesn't matter. It will still give you information.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
thank you. It's good.
that's beautiful. Venu says she's been seeing blue light and she also saw her dad while we were doing this. That is so beautiful. Anyone else would like to share what they felt or sensed?
Yeah, I also saw a lot of. I felt this indigo kind of, like they were like circular lights. Okay, they kept coming. Like I felt that they were all coming to me, and I felt that it was so beautiful. And the moment I received that, I felt my body was like vibrating. I could feel that vibration. It was amazing. That time only I realized that, like I have this fan of mine, okay, that's always making sound, and I used to wonder why it feels noisy to me, but others are not able to hear that. Then when it was coming, it helped me to understand, oh, that is the one that is, like keeping my brain wave calm. Okay, like, like it
Yes,
felt that, okay, this is the one that, like that Jose Silva's thing, like where you have that tuck 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 that
yes,
brain, to calm you. I felt like, okay,
oscillation.
this is what this has been doing for me for all this long, and I didn't realize that. That thought came at that I've always I've done 2 levels of Reiki, so I've always felt like when I close my eyes for meditation, I wish I can feel that, like that indigo light, like just in front of me, helping me with a lot of things. And today I felt like there were like lots of them, like the lots of like the circular blue lights that were coming, and like what they were all like focusing and joining within me, like that
So,
was really
what
beautiful.
what I'm sensing when you're saying that, Uma, is that probably you were having bits and pieces of yourself reintegrating back into your body.
Okay.
So sometimes it can happen when we go through some traumatic events or any sort of events, actually. It doesn't have to be
Mm.
traumatic. It can be an accident, it can be a surgery or a heartbreak, anything like that. We tend to fragment bits and pieces of our soul. We leave them
Mm.
behind in those places. So when
Okay.
we call upon all these energies to come back into the body, it is basically asking your soul fragments also to come back and integrate.
Oh,
And in
oh,
fact, I have been meaning to do a workshop on this because I've noticed a lot of people have been feeling disoriented with their bodies and feel like they're not complete. So they could be, their soul fragments could have fragmented not just in this lifetime, but in other lifetimes or in other timelines. So calling all of them back and integrating them into the body is very important for us so that we feel complete, you know. So if you
That
want me
makes
to do a
so much
workshop,
sense.
yeah, if
So
you,
much sense. Yeah, I'm, of course, I have had some traumatic moments, and I've been writing about them a lot, like in my journal in the past 1 month, and it happened so many years back, like 2 decades back, but now I'm, like reliving them and writing them out. So I feel that makes so much sense to me.
yes. So if any of
Thank
you would
you.
like me to do a soul integration workshop, we can do that as well, because I think that's something that's coming up even in my readings for the past few days. So let me know about that. But thank you for so much for sharing that experience. It's beautiful. So Uma, you want to share? You said you saw something. You're on mute.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it was more of heat that I felt when you said notice subtle changes. And after that, at the end, when you said thanks to the lineage or something like that, I suddenly saw a face closing the eyes with a black cloth. And then it cooled down. Suddenly, the temperature shifted. So the temperature was something that I felt suddenly.
That's interesting. So the face with the black cloth could also mean that maybe it's a message from your ancestors that you're not willing to see what you want to see. And because we were discussing this about your eyesight as well, it could mean that you need to take the cloth off now and see. So it could be that you're clairvoyant and you're refusing to see your psychic ability of sight as well. So just consider that because right now I'm still buzzing from that. So they're giving me information. Yes, Arvind, I was just gonna say why are the guys all silent? Go ahead.
I yes, I experienced. Well, right now I'm feeling very calm. Mm, for multiple. There was this bright violet, purple, magenta kind of uh, light that I was able to see in the first half of the practice, and it was more like it was like cylindrical uh, shape coming downwards, and it had like streaks of white brightness in it, maybe like white light coming out. I don't know what that means, but it just came. And then I was also able to see that I'm not sure if I was consciously trying to focus too hard or something, but there were other things that were like other some memories that were coming up. I don't even know what the memories were, and I kept coming back to what you were sharing. I kept coming back to the body, and especially the gratitude for the body. I think that was the most powerful, where I was for that brief moment of time, I was able to really just hold and thank my body for all that the body has done for me and um, all that the body has gone through because of probably just like mental force and conditioning and all that.
Sure.
So there was a sense of grounding and towards the end, grace. And towards the end, somehow when you said I don't know when it ended, and I sort of came to like the awareness came when you said it's trippy.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, okay, so we are here now.
Yeah.
And and my hands felt vibrating and like I wouldn't say heavy, but more like grounding
Mhm.
and slight moisture also on my palms. Mm. Um, so throughout there were like 3, 4 times when there was like these jerks. The
Yes.
body or someone else also shared
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
chat.
Anita also said that she jerked a couple of times during the process. So generally, when the body jerks, it's basically releasing something. Anything that is unwanted or not in your highest interest is left out because most of you have seen blue, violet, indigo kind of lights, which are very, very powerful frequencies. And it is also to do with your Agnya and Sahasra chakras. Those are the lights that you see when you're able to access higher consciousness. It doesn't mean that those who haven't seen it would not experience it. It just some are more visual than the others. It doesn't mean that they haven't experienced it. Maybe they didn't see the light color per se, right? When I was in the meditation, I wasn't seeing any colors per se, but I was feeling, like this transparent heat that rises from the ground. It's transparent, but it's energy. It looked like that to me. So it feels like there was a rainbow of colors in it, but I wasn't focused on one. So if you have seen blues and indigos and violets and magentas, they're all colors of psychic abilities. Okay. So it means that you had opened yourselves up and you were in a form of receiving, which is good. And feeling heat in the body, like Uma mentioned, or Arvind was also saying, tingling sensations in the hands and palms. These are very common indications of energies that you're tapping into, like psychic beings, right? Even at the beginning of our webinar, I was telling you I was feeling heat when I was talking about certain things. It is a way of my guides giving me information that's very important. If it's important information, sometimes I'm like sweating profusely also when I'm telling my clients that you need to pay attention to this because they're making me feel very hot right now. So all these things, that these subtle changes in temperature that you feel in your body, or these vibrations that you feel in your body, the more you tune into it, the more information it will give you. Okay. And also, Maxwell said he's been seeing 1111 flashing in his mind. So 1111, any repetitive numbers are also signs that you are in your ascension process, that your mind is opening up, your energies are opening up, your consciousness is becoming more aware. So the activation process starts usually through numbers because um, I don't know how many of you are aware of sacred geometry or the Fibonacci code. They're all related to numbers. Okay. The entire universe, our entire being is a mathematical equation. So seeing numbers is the most common way of understanding that you are in a process of transformation, of transition, of also ascending to higher vibrational frequencies. So a lot of you felt calm. Meher, you mentioned that you have a slight headache. That could also be that you were resistant to some part of the meditation. It could be anything. It could be subconsciously, some people can have a fear that if they open up their psychic senses, they don't know what they will receive, right? And it may not be a conscious fear. It can be a very subconscious thing at the back of your mind saying that I don't know what I'm opening up myself to, and what if there are beings of darkness that come and stand in the in my room in the middle of the night? It can happen, right? So that fear can uh, prevent you from fully tuning in, which is fine. And the headache also would dissipate after a point. It's not something that would stay with you. And somebody else also said that the body jerks. So this is another common thing that happens when you're releasing something from your body. Any blocks, any energetic things that are holding you back. Sometimes it can also be entity attachments because for this particular meditation, in fact, when I wanted to create this webinar, there's a pillar of light meditation that I usually use for my students to open up and have that connection with the Akashic records. But I have been asking my guides since morning, like, should I use that? And they kept saying no. And I didn't understand for the life of me why not, because that's a very powerful way of connecting with the Akashic records. And now I know why, because this meditation is completely different and it felt more trippy, for the lack of it felt like I was not present in my body. And it usually I'm aware of when they're speaking through me, but it felt to me this time that even within me something was getting activated. So I wasn't present in my body. And the way they were showing me the expansiveness of the energies that can get for each one of you, everyone's energies can expand out into the universe. I don't know how many of you felt expansive when I was asking you to like connect with, because the soul is not in the body, it's outside the body. Okay. And when I first understood that, I was like, what? How is it not in the body? But because the soul is such a unlimited being, only a fragment or the essence of the soul is in the physical body. So the physical body is actually in the soul and not the other way around. And because of that, also, we have multiple experiences in other dimensions and timelines. So when we are sleeping, we generally travel to the astral plane and back very easily. That's because our soul is already there and we receive information from our dreams as well. So that is why I'm saying today's experience was very different and very trippy. So, guys, you can just unmute yourself and speak. Venu, are you outside? You can also share whatever you're feeling.
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
I can't see you though.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've not put my video on, but
All right.
yes, I was feeling restless, and twice I opened my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but when you went to the ans and before you started speaking about ancestors, I was already there. And when you were speaking about the body, for the first time in my life,
Mm.
I actually felt that yes, my body was uh, mm, body gave a lot to me, and thanks to my body, yes, and then I actually started thanking the entire different parts of my body that they have helped me a lot to be here wherever I am. And I was already with my father when you started speaking about ancestors, and that blue light suddenly came.
Mm.
But before that, twice I was very restless and I opened my eyes twice. I don't know. And my hands were slipping from my heart and stomach. I
Mm.
was sitting, but my hands started slipping and I brought them back. I
Mm.
had to bring, I don't know, maybe that's the restless part of me, and my mind is absolutely very restless at times. But I did. But the blue light I definitely saw with my father.
Okay.
I would definitely like to ask, uh, does, I don't know whether it is connected to this part or not, but does astrology also play a part in your life? Because when your stars are because you're born with certain stars with your
Yes.
birth chart, and they do make you restless. I will just stop there because it's a very different tangent
Yeah.
I'm going on.
So you could have felt restless because this is something that you're not used to. Like most people who are on my call right now have either experienced channel meditation done by me or somebody else before. So
Right.
when you do channel meditations, and especially when you do my channel meditations, it's like a very different energy that people can feel, and it can make you feel restless if your body is not tuned into those energies. Okay. So, and since this is your first experience, I'm assuming
Right.
it is your first
Yes,
channel
absolutely.
meditation. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so it will take time for because it's new, right? It's
Right.
something that you're not used to. So it
Right.
could be because of that you felt a bit restless. But if you do this meditation again, you may not feel restless because your body's already like accustomed to that energy. And you seeing your ancestors, that is so amazing because seeing your father, your
Yeah, I
grandfather.
saw my father, grandfather, and great grandmother. I did see all of them.
Yeah.
And with my father, I saw the blue light. And I did write in my chat that I do feel channelized with my energies that yes, now I can achieve.
Yes.
Like I feel motivated.
Yes. So the more you listen, so that is why I think I chose to record the webinar. Usually I don't record any of these meetings, but today I had a feeling like, no, I need to record this because, and I thank God I did because whatever I channeled, I want to listen to it again because it was so, like I could feel like I wasn't in my body. Like it felt very, very different and very expansive. So the more you listen to it, perhaps you will have a clearer channel. And now that we're going to start with some of the psychic exercises, you can see how you're feeling about it, and then you can try doing it again. I do have other channel meditations on my YouTube. You can also try them just to get used to the feeling of how it feels because whatever it is that channels through me is different every time I channel. Like today, I felt like the Akashic record keepers and guides were the ones who took over. Like it felt like they needed to share this information. Usually, it's my guides. Usually, it is like when I channel Kali or Durga, it's a different energy altogether. So it depends on who's coming through, right? But it's always something for the group in specific. So even when I'm teaching Akashic records, depending on the type of students I have, the information keeps changing and shifting. Even though I have a structure and I have like all these pre-recorded videos, during the live sessions, it's never the same. It's never the same. So that is why I have this group where I make my previous students mingle with the current students and keep swapping sessions, because you never know what will come up, because each one learns it differently. And I have no control over it, unfortunately. But there is a structure. We do have a structure to the course, but what comes out as information, even this webinar, I haven't planned. I just wrote down what are the Akashic records, who can access them, and channel meditation and Q&A. That is all I've written down. And the rest is just flowing from my guides, okay? Because before I started the webinar, I just sat down and I said, okay, you guys take over. So even now, even when I'm speaking to you, the information that's flowing through me is not mine. Okay, so I'm just a conduit. Interesting. There are so many other stories that are. Ayush, you would like to share? Anish, Ayush, both of you have been very quiet, so please do share. No?
Hello.
Hi, Ayush. Can't see you
Hi.
though.
Yeah. Now you can?
Yes, I can. Yeah. So you had like an interesting thing to say about going on a journey during this meditation.
Yes. So, like every time I connect, for some reason I always disconnect. Like in an instant, in a few seconds, I disconnect. But since some time, I am getting dreams, especially in the early morning. So during this session, also something disturbed me. But then, very suddenly, I went into this dream scene,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember it much, but it was like I'm standing somewhere. I know it was using what I know as a reference to translate what I was getting. So everything was moving in front of me like planets. I'm standing in this on this planet, and every planet is moving. But then it was switching to uh, people's, and it was switching to something that I am holding on to something very strongly.
Mm.
Everything was happening very fast for me, and I was getting this idea that there's something that I haven't thought of, that I don't know that it could exist, and it's there, it's in everything, and I might open up to it, or it might reveal itself to me. But the message was too fast, and then I again came out of it. So
That's awesome.
um, yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
So I don't exactly got it, but because I came out of it very soon, but I was getting, it's like they are coming trying to communicate something
Yes.
which I'm not able to understand.
So when we start with the psychic exercises, I'm now hoping that most of you will get what the very simple. Okay, they're not anything complicated. So let's see what comes through. But Ayush, the information that you're receiving perhaps is something that you need to open up to. We've had this conversation before where you're a little resistant towards connecting with your psychicness. So
Mhm.
maybe if you do this meditation again, you might receive the same information but with a bit more clarity, is what I'm
Yes,
getting. So
yes.
just give it a shot and see how you feel. Or you can just sit and zone out after the call and
Hmm.
see what information you receive.
Yes, yeah. Trying it again also seems a good idea.
Yes,
Meditating on it again.
absolutely. So Anish, you would like to share? He says that he felt immense love from his soul. That is usually how it feels as well, especially connecting with the body. Usually we forget about the body, right? Where like we take it for granted. So connecting with the body helps us acknowledge that we have a physical body and that we are in tune or aligned with it to do the work we need to do on this planet. Because the body has its own consciousness, its own psychicness, its own antennas. Um, and we as spiritual beings are inhabiting this body temporarily and having access to the physical body. So we need to honor it and acknowledge it to work better with it. So acknowledging your body, even if you do it the way we did today, or just simply talking to it every single day, will be a good start to having a better relationship with your body. All right. So let's get into the psychic exercise unless anybody else wants to share, or we can do it after the psychic exercises. So any questions you may have, keep them ready. So I have 4 simple exercises for you. I'm going to think of something, and I want you to either draw it, visualize it, hear it, smell it, see it, taste it, or touch it. Okay? However it comes to you. You can feel it also. You can know the information. You can see it. You can hear it. You can touch it. Like it could be like a shape or something. You can feel it in your hands. Or you can also smell it and taste it. Okay. With me so far? Because these are your psychic abilities. Okay. All of us have the ability to see, hear, touch, taste, smell, know, and feel. So I want you to open all of your faculties, or, all of these elements that you have. And the first one, it's either going to be a circle, square, triangle, or a star. Okay. I'll write it down here. Circle, square, uh, triangle, or star. Okay. And I'm going to visualize one of it. And I want you to pick up on what I'm visualizing, and I'm sending it into all of your minds. Okay. So if you want to stare at me, you want to close your eyes and do it, it's up to you. However you want to do it. If you feel like you need to keep drawing something on the paper, you can go ahead and do that also. Okay. Here we go. I'm sending you the image now. Okay, if you got it, write it down. You can send it in the group chat. I think that's better. There was no rectangle, it was a square. But okay, let's just take the rectangle as a square.
Can you see mine?
Yes, Meher, yes. Mm.
I've got 2 Tejas, star and a circle.
Mm. Okay. Has everyone answered? Is there anybody pending? Okay. Okay. So I was sending a star. So whoever got the star is preferably more tuned in at the moment. Doesn't mean that everything else was wrong. It does take, like I said, practice to um, get perfect. And I will tell you what you can do after we finish with the exercises, how you can strengthen the psychicness. So the next one is going to be the colors red, blue, green, or yellow. Okay, I'm just going to write them down here. Okay. And I'm keeping it very simple because it's easy for people to choose from, like, if I just say I'm thinking of something, it's very vague and everyone can pick up on different things. So I'm giving you very specific things so that I can choose one and then you can see what that is. All right. So I'm going to think of the color If you can pick up on the shape of it is also great, but if not, that's also fine. All right. I'm sending the image now. If you get it, just keep typing it or drawing it, whatever feels right. Just tune into those energies that we were feeling in the meditation. Ask them to show you what it is. The color is fine. You don't have to do the shape, just the color is fine. Okay. Has everyone answered? Hmm. So I'm gonna tell you what I was projecting telepathically. It's the color yellow, and I was thinking of a yellow sun or a circle. So that is something. So whoever's gotten a circle half right, who's gotten yellow also, but you predominantly yellow. Yellow was the color that I was projecting out. Um,
I got it. I got it, the sunflower. Teja.
okay. Yeah, Mayor?
Star.
I started with yellow and then I changed to blue. What would that be?
Yeah, so this is another thing, right? It's very interesting you brought that up. Usually, when we are trying to tune into with our psychic senses, the first thing that comes into your mind is the same, is the correct answer. The moment you use your logical brain and think like maybe, maybe not, you've lost it. So the first thing that pops into your mind, you just go with that. And the more you start tuning in with the intuition, right? And the first thing, every time you ask a question, the first thing that pops into your mind is usually the correct answer. Okay. And if it is your logical mind, it will tell you after a gap of a few seconds. It will not tell you immediately. If you're asking like, oh, what color is she thinking of? And I'm seeing yellow or I'm hearing yellow or I'm like, seeing a circle or whatever it is, you have to go with that. Yeah, Arvind.
Yeah, so the thing is, I saw yellow even before, like yellow came to me even before you said, okay,
Yes,
now I'm
Yes.
telepathically.
Yes.
So I
yes.
was like, I'm not sure what the timing is not right, and then I was like,
No, but I was
but
already thinking of yellow because
okay,
my guides were showing me to pick yellow and I wanted to pick red. So, Venu, I think you're also kind of right because I've oscillated between red and blue. And
Yes,
then
I
my
started with red.
Yeah, so a lot of you picked up blue also, which is and nobody picked up green.
Yeah.
So, there were these thoughts in my mind about going with red and blue. And then my guides kept showing me yellow sun. So I said, okay, I mean, if that's what they want you to see. So that is when I went with the yellow circle. But great, yeah, a lot of you are picking it up. So the energies that we tuned into while we were doing the meditation, just get into that sense, that feeling of that vibration of that expansiveness and ask the energies. Don't use your mind, okay? Don't ask yourself, what is she picking? Just say, what do I need to know about this? Like, what was the information about this? Right? So you're not involved or like you're not like you're trying to blank your mind out, basically. So when you blank your mind out, the first thing that comes into your mind is usually the correct answer. The moment you start thinking hard, that is when you mess up. So just be open and just allow it to come through. Okay. So I'm
One
going to,
one question, Teja, here. Just like how Arvind said, even in the first question, I had the answer even before you just said four.
yes,
Something was telling me this, but then I disregarded because you said I'm sending it now, which was
yeah.
much later. So that confusion was going on.
Okay. So what I'm going to do then, I'm not going to say that. And I will just give you the options and I'll think about it and you'll just choose. How about that? Okay. So the next options, I'm just going to write them down. Okay. Earth, fire, water, and air. If you want to be specific about what it is also, you can write it down. Don't think. The first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. So a lot of you have said fire and earth. Uh, Only one person had said water. So the first thought that I had, even before typing it down, was fire. Okay, so that I wanted to choose fire. But as I was saying fire, I also saw water with fire. So it's very difficult to pick up water when I'm visualizing fire. So whoever's gotten fire, that's great. If you've gotten water, that's even better because I feel like they were trying to pull me towards water and not fire. But I was like, no, no, now I'm going to decide. Like, you're not going to decide for me. So fire was my choice. Water was the choice of the guides. Okay. So again, very well done, most of you. Earth is a very, like, it could feel like very grounding. I did want to choose earth, but then I was drawn to fire and then they showed me water towards the end. So this is what. So again, being psychic is very complicated. Okay, you can have hits and misses, but the more you practice, the easier it gets. The easier you will know things, and the moment you second guess yourself, you're losing that information. So when you're connecting, that is why when you connect with the Akashic records, you have a medium of connection. So when you say the prayer, you're kind of tuning your brain to understanding that because of this prayer, whatever information I'm receiving is going to be accurate. But when I'm asking you like this now, think of what I'm thinking about, you will second guess yourself because you don't trust yourself enough. Okay. But if I were to say, like, okay, choose a number from 1 to 5, and I choose a number now in my mind, okay? I've chosen a number. You're free to like put the number up. But from 1 to 5, I've chosen a number. I'm just letting you know. So if the number pops in your head, just write it down. The first thing that pops into your head. But you have to be willing to trust your instincts about it. Don't feel like, oh, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not psychic because I'm getting the other answers wrong. The moment you get into that space, you will not be able to um, connect with your psychic senses. Okay. So that is why learning a modality like Akashic Records will give you the trust factor that you need to have in your own psychic abilities, which will then enhance the muscle of the psychicness. Okay. So when I give you a prayer to connect with the records, it's like a ritual. When you do puja, right? You do a ritual. You light the deepam, you light the agarbatti, you put flowers. You're telling your mind you're going into that state of being where you're setting an intention and asking God for a prayer or a wish fulfillment or whatever it is. So you are setting that intention. A lot of people Ask me about black magic. It's the same thing. Okay. They do a ritual to set an intention which is not positive, and hence it's manifested, because any intention, whether it's positive or negative or neutral, whatever it is, the moment you focus your intention on it, it tends to manifest. Okay. So when we create this ritual, this lighting of the deepam and the agarbatti and all of that, then you are telling your mind, I'm getting into the space of divinity where I can now connect with a higher source. So, when you say the prayer to connect with the Akashic records, you're telling your entire psychic system that, look, it's not us, it's somebody else who's giving us the information. So, it becomes easier for us to believe it. So, when you learn how to access the records by using this prayer that I teach my students, it becomes more believable to you than trusting your own senses. But I want you to practice trusting your own senses every single day and then learn to access the Akashic records. It'll become much easier for you, because the moment you have confidence in your own abilities, your day to day also becomes easier. Okay. So, here are a couple of things that you can do starting from today. If you want to practice strengthening your intuition and your psychic abilities, the one thing that you can do is ask yes or no questions. For you to become more psychic or to become more connected with the information that's around you, you need to have a better relationship with your own higher self. Okay, so that is an element of your soul that has access to information all around you, which is the ether plane. So the higher self is the one that tunes in and brings you this information like an antenna. So if you just simply ask now, higher self, can you tell me this? It will not tell you it because you don't have a relationship with it. So whatever it tells you also you will not trust. So in order for you to have a better relationship with your higher self, there's a 40-day exercise that you can do by asking yes or no questions. And when you ask that yes or no question, you have to follow through. You can't be like, no, but I still want to do this. But the higher self said no, so I still go ahead and do it. No. If the higher self says no, you don't do it. You ask the question again 10 seconds later or a minute later. If it says yes, you can then go ahead and do it. But at that moment, if it says no, you don't do it. Okay, so that is a rule that you need to follow very, very strictly. If it says yes, you have to do it. Okay, so the
But
yes or
will the answer come? Teja?
yes, so the yes or no questions have to be very, very mundane. Okay. For example, you when you wake up in the first thing in the morning, you ask your higher self, should I brush my teeth now? Yes or no? That's it. Okay. It's a very mundane question. You don't think so much about it. If it says yes, go ahead and do it. And the first thing that comes to your mind, not like after a few seconds or whatever, like the first thought that you have or the feeling that you have, it may not be a thought. It could be a voice you hear. It could be like an image of a yes or a no. It could be like this feeling or just that knowingness that, yes, I have to go and brush my teeth now. Then go ahead and do it. Then you ask the next question, can I drink a glass of water now? Okay, yes, no. It's as simple as that. Okay, then you ask at least 20 to 40 questions like that throughout the day, which have no emotional value. It has no importance. They're just mundane day to day questions. Should I wear the
40
red shirt?
questions, 40 questions and 40 days.
Yes, you can ask more than that or less than that, depending on. But the more you ask, the more in tune you are with your higher self. So every small thing, like should I take a break now? Should I sleep now? Should I eat that chocolate cake now? Should I go for a walk now? Whatever it is, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Only yes, no questions. Okay, and questions that do not have any emotional importance to it. If you ask, should I take that job now or not? Your conscious mind is going to kick in like that because the conscious mind is very, very present in your systems right now. You haven't let go of your conscious mind yet. So, this is going to allow you to train your intuition and the connection with your higher self that after 40 days, you can then ask questions like, how many minutes should I microwave this cup of coffee for? And it'll give you numbers, words, things like that. So from yes or no, you will slowly graduate to words. Okay, it might say 30 seconds or 1 minute, or put like 1 teaspoon of salt in this when you're cooking, or don't go for this birthday party tonight, or whatever it is, right? So you will start asking questions that are of a little bit more on the emotional side, but still on the mundane side. And then you do that for another few days to see how your higher self starts to respond. But for most people, by the end of 40 days, you're already, because you're listening and doing whatever your intuition is telling you to do, your higher self would probably be completely open to having a connection with you. So from then onwards, you notice how it responds to you. The moment, so the higher self has a tone, okay? It can be very strict. It can say things like, you shouldn't have done that, or you should do this, It can be like that, a little bit. But when you connect with the records and your guides, or the record keepers and guides, their tonality will be different. So the more you get used to how your higher self speaks to you, and everyone's higher self has a personality. So you need to understand what kind of personality your higher self has. Some people's higher selves can be very sassy. Some people's higher selves can be very soft spoken. Some people can be very authoritative. Okay, every higher self has its own essence. Doesn't mean that they're not looking out for you. The higher self's job is to look out for your best interest. That's the only job it has. So it will pick up and analyze all the information from the ether around itself, and will have everything ready for you to ask. So the better your connection with your higher self, the more information you will start receiving. Does that make sense?
Excuse me, Teja. So these 40 days, same questions we have to ask, or we can
Any
change?
questions, any mundane, non-emotional questions, like should I drink my coffee now, or should I drink it late? Like, not later, just say yes or no. So should I drink my coffee now? If I'm getting a no, like if I'm feeling like no, I don't want to drink it now, I will not. Should I eat my lunch now? Yes, no. Should I eat this with my lunch? Yes, no. Things, it's like,
Some repetitive questions can be there.
yeah.
You can
Yeah.
change.
It doesn't have to be brand new questions. It can be the same questions also. Sometimes if you receive a no, you can ask again after 10 seconds or a minute or 10 minutes, and ask and see if it changes. Because
Then
it's
pick up.
then you do it. So if you are getting a no for eating lunch now, but after 10 minutes you ask and it says yes, then you eat then.
Okay.
So you follow through with whatever it's saying. Yes, no. So even if you really desperately want to eat that chocolate cake and it's saying no, ask 10 seconds later. Can I eat now? Can I eat now? Can I eat now? So then when it says yes, then you eat. And then again, when you're eating, you can ask, is this enough? Is this enough? Is this enough? And if it says, again, don't follow your body's intuition, okay? Only your higher self. So your body is like, I want more, but your higher self is like, no, this is enough. So you have to decipher what your body is saying and what your higher self is saying.
So
So
this is more a consciousness.
it is a consciousness. It is a consciousness that is yours, that has information that your physical brain is not comprehending. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can ask, and in this way, you can also have a connection with your body, because you will know when your body wants to do something and when your higher self wants to do something. So your body has its own consciousness as well. So you can ask the body also the same questions, yes or no, and you can have a connection with your body as well and with your higher self separately.
Hmm.
And then you can see if they're in alignment or not. Because your body can say, then you have to ask, body, do you want to eat this? Or do you want to wear that? Or do you want to sleep now? Anything related with the body. But it's the higher self, you say, higher self, should I do this? Should I sleep now? Should I eat this now? So the higher self will have a different opinion sometimes. Sometimes they'll both be in sync. So by practicing this every day, you're bringing that alignment between your body, your heart, and your higher self. So when all of the three are in sync, the more information you'll receive, and more with more accuracy. So this is one of the exercises. The other that you can do is, if you have a deck of cards, right? Whether it's tarot cards or playing cards, you can just shuffle them. And before you open the top card, you think of the design on it, and then just open and see. Yeah, Uma, you can leave. Sorry. Anyway, this is recorded, so I'll send you the link once I upload it. I'll make it an unlisted link and I'll only share it with those of you who are here. So you can get that link. So just open the top card and see what it is then. And then again shuffle, then again do the same thing. It will be very frustrating, okay? Trust me, it is very annoying because most of the time you'll get it wrong. Even I get it wrong. It's not easy to train your brain in that way. But if you are gung ho about being psychic and getting everything right at the first go, then try it. Don't be afraid of getting things wrong. Like today also, it's the number 4 that I was thinking about, and only one of you got it right. Okay. But it's fine. It's okay if you don't get it right the first time. The more you practice it, the better it gets. And if you have like a tool like an Akashic Records prayer, then you can just blank out your mind and receive the information. So these 40 days exercises and also you reading the tarot cards or the playing deck of cards is a way of blanking out your mind to receiving information. So the more you're able to get into that space of blankness, it's like a state of meditation, right? You meditate because you want to get into that zero state. So if you're able to do this with these practices of psychicness, it's very easy for you to receive information from your guides as well. You can also do something called automatic writing by asking a question and then receiving information. But in order to get accurate information and free flowing information, you need to get your physical brain out of the system. And these exercises will help you get there. All right. I'm already way overboard, and I'm sure a lot of people have other things scheduled.
Yes.
So, any final questions before we close?
Will you tell us the prayer, Teja, please?
So that is when you learn the Akashic Records with me because there's a proper system for it and it's much longer. I can't just give you the prayer and expect you to understand it. Um,
Okay.
but this
So
is just the
before doing these
introduction.
exercises, we don't need to say it before the exercise.
No, you don't. That is what I'm
Okay.
saying. You can still have access to the information from the Akashic Records without doing this prayer, provided you have more confidence in yourself and practice these things that I'm telling you so that you can get there eventually. The prayer is a shortcut. Okay, so if you choose to study Akashic Records with me, then it's like a shortcut version of it. You have instant access and you can get the information. This is a
But
little long.
you'll give us details of how we can do this with you.
Yes, if you would like, I can share it with you at some point.
Yep.
So it's all on my website anyway. If you want me to send you the details, I can send that to you as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Because the Akashic Records course
Teja,
is
I
very
have
in depth.
yeah.
Sorry, somebody was saying something.
Yeah, you speak. I'll speak after that.
All right, so the Akashic Records course is quite in depth, and it's also an international certification. So we have what we have done is we have pre-recorded videos for to get the basic stuff out of the way, and then we have 5 days of live classes where it's only practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the faster your connection with the records gets, and it becomes more stronger. And after that, you're given a small online test, which everyone passes usually, and then you have to submit 25 case studies. So within a period of a month or two, you do 25 free case studies in a certain order, and then you submit those back. And 25th one, you can do the case with me so that I can assess and see how far you have come from your starting point till then. And then I will issue your international certification. So the international certification is for you to practice as an Akashic Records guide. You can then take on paid clients and you can, do readings for everybody else. You can also access the information for yourself because that's also part of the training. And the more you access it for others and for yourself, automatically after a point, you don't even need the prayer. You become an open channel. Because your confidence levels goes, right? You're like, oh yeah, I can receive information now. So then you become more confident about receiving the information.
But if we don't want to be a practitioner just for our own benefit, is there anything
You can still do that. So at some point, somebody will ask you for information, and then you will feel like, oh, I want to open their records and see what it is. So you don't have to make it into a paid service. You can still do it for friends and family, provided you go through the whole training and submit the 25 case studies, because then I will know that you are good to go. Otherwise, you might have a lot of questions and nobody to guide you after that. Because when I did the training with Maureen, we had like 4 days of so much of information being stuffed, very little practice, and then I was left with so many questions and nobody to ask. So I decided to get the introductory part of it out of the way, the information part of it, and focus mostly on the questions part of it. I'm sorry, the practice part of it, so that when you're practicing, you'll come up with all your questions. And then be available for my students whenever they want access to me so that they can keep asking questions.
Where are you based?
Yeah. So I can send you the information, but thank you all for joining me. And I think a lot of people are they need to log off now. So we will connect again.
Teja, one last thing. Sorry for the thing.
No
See,
problem.
this prayer or whatever it is, before asking any question or whatever it is, can we do our own prayers in our own language? Like say some slow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As long as you're able to clear your mind out, okay? The moment you go into a 0 point state with your mind and you're just receiving, whether it's a feeling or a sensation or a thought or whatever it is that is coming to you, you have to not have any filters through which you're viewing that information. If you have filters, then it'll get corrupted.
So I can have my own.
Yes, absolutely.
Teja, I have a question.
Yes.
Does crossing your legs or hands during the prayers or receiving any messages or sending messages, is it wrong because it blocks the energy?
It's not wrong. It's just that so our extremities are like antennas, right? So when we close them like this, you're closing the circuit. So it kind of stops the energy from flowing all, because if you notice in the channel meditation, we went from top to down through our feet into the ground, into the earth, right? And then again back up. So it's like an open channel. If I crossed my legs at that point, I'm stopping that energy from going into the ground.
Right.
So you might feel a bit ungrounded. Sometimes when you receive information, it can be very overwhelming if your legs are crossed. It doesn't mean you can't receive information with your
I'm
legs
just
crossed.
asking because I often cross my legs. Yeah, I often cross my legs and sit. I often cross my hands. So
That's
it
fine.
does it block my energy?
It doesn't block your energy. If you're channeling information, having your hands and feet in an open position allows you to receive more, in my experience. The moment I cross my legs, it's not like I can't receive information. It's just that I feel like it's a bit of a struggle for the information to flow more easily through me. So if you feel like crossing your
Oh,
legs,
okay.
you receive
Okay.
more information, you can do that. But whenever I cross my legs or my ankles or my feet, I feel like it just stops flowing as easily as it should flow. That's the only, it's not right or wrong. There's nothing like that. Whatever works for you, I suppose. But with the Akashic records, I usually tell my students not to cross their legs or hands, even with the client, because when I've noticed, I've done almost, I don't know how many thousands of sessions in the past few years with Akashic record clients, and on a video call, I don't know if they're crossing their legs or their hands, okay? But when they do, I feel like that information is stuck, it's not flowing. And then my guides tell me to tell them to uncross their legs or hands. And then they're like, oh, how do you know I cross my legs? Because it's just that flow gets stuck. But it's not like a bad thing. It's not like your energies are getting stuck. It's just that I'm not able to receive more for you because your circuit is closed. That's the only thing. Does that
Got
make
it.
sense?
Right.
Thanks
All
a
right.
lot, Teja. I need to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for joining in, and I had such a wonderful time talking to all of you. And I hope to
Thanks.
do this again soon. All right?
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
Take
you so much,
care.
Teja. Thank you. It was a
Bye.
quite motivating and encouraging class. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.